Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, we'll speak with the lone Granite Mountain hotshot survivor of the Yarnell Hill fire. And we'll check out an exhibit of rare violins, including a Stradivarius at the Musical Instrument Museum. That's next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. A vendor blamed by Secretary of State Michelle Reagan for failing to mail 200,000 publicity pamphlets for the May 17th special election says the Secretary of State is instead to blame, adding that the company's contract with the state expired months before Reagan's office even learned of the problem. Arizona Capital Times reports that IBM claims its responsibility while under contract was to maintain and upgrade software, and that the Secretary of State was responsible for using that software. Attorney General Mark Brnovich concluded that Reagan broke the law by not sending the pamphlets out, but that there's nothing in statute regarding a remedy or penalty. Well, Brendan McDonough, the lone Granite Mountain hotshot survivor of the deadly Yarnell Hill fire, has written a new book about his life and his relationship with his 19 team members who died in the tragedy. The memoir is titled My Lost Brothers, the untold story by the Yarnell Hill fire's lone survivor. We welcome Brendan McDonough to Arizona Horizon. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me today.
I like to ask people how they're doing, but with you, I'm especially interested. How are you doing?
I think I'm doing well. For all circumstances and for everything I've been through, I've had a lot of great support and a lot of breakthrough recently, and just feel good. Feel healthy and feel in a really good place.
The breakthrough by way of what? Counseling, outside work? What?
With counseling, I think it was a combination of a lot of things, strengthening my faith, counseling, community service, and just good work with great people.
I ask it especially because we're heading into a pretty rough time of year, probably for you. When this time of year rolls around, the last couple of times, been difficult?
It's been very difficult, seeing the fires in the news. We have, up in Canada, Fort McMurray fire, 1,600 homes were lost, and it just continues to grow. And we're starting to see the Southwest, with Governor Ducey talking about it. And it's just, it is tough, but it's reassuring to me that we have great men and women out there that are going to continue and fight for protecting people and homes and property.
Let's talk about your story. How did you become a hotshot?
Back in 2011, I had walked into the office and asked if they were hiring, and literally 5 people had just quit within that first week. And so I had an interview on the spot. So it was very, very fast-paced, a little shocked and surprised, but very happy that I had the chance to do that.
But before that, though, you had a troubled, interesting, varied, but troubled life. Talk to us about that.
So 6 months to getting hired, prior to getting hired, I was in jail for, arrested for a crime. And right after jail, I enrolled in my EMT class to try and get on an ambulance, just to try and do anything to better my life. And it was really tough. It was just a battle of drug addiction and feeling like a failure as a father, as someone who wanted to serve the community but couldn't because of the mistakes I made. So that was kind of the battle I had before I got hired on.
And it sounds like you wanted to change for your daughter.
Yes, very much so. I wanted to be a father for her and be the father that I didn't have growing up.
But you could have done many things. You could have gone in many different directions to try and to set yourself straight and prove yourself to your daughter. You chose being a hotshot. Why again that profession?
It was something that I always wanted to be a part of, and it was something that I knew I needed to do for other opportunities to open up within fighting fires.
Were you aware of the discipline involved?
I think you can only understand so much before you go into a job like that, and I tried to be as aware as possible, but when I got there, it was a lot of things that were new and a lot of things that I didn't understand and a lot of things that the guys, had taught me.
Right. Before they taught you, though, when you first got there, did you face skepticism? I mean, here's a guy with a troubled past. Were people looking at you sideways a little bit?
Oh, yeah. I came in later than any of the other rookies, and I wasn't in, even close to the shape that they were in. So a lot of that was very, very tough to beat. But as soon as I did, I knew when I was accepted, I knew I had great brothers that would stand behind me and support me.
And Eric Marsh, the team leader there, talked to us about his impact on you, because it sounds like he took a chance on you, didn't he?
Yeah, I definitely, took a chance on me, a second chance kid, I would say. And one of the things that Eric taught me, besides being a firefighter, is how to be a responsible person and be a responsible adult, and how to be a father. And those are characteristics I learned from all my brothers. Even though some of them weren't fathers, they still had characteristics that were very similar to what I needed to be and what I needed to learn.
So when did you know that you could do this? You could really,
could
be a hot shot.
I never doubted myself, and I think that's why I was able to do it.
Interesting.
There was a few moments, I guess I could never say never, but once I had gotten through my first few months of fighting wildfires, I really knew that this was my passion, this is the job I wanted, and these are the men I wanted to be around. These are the type of people I wanted in my life that were continuing to help build me up.
You referred to this earlier. When did you know you had the confidence of your team members? Was there a point in time when okay,
yeah,
I'm in?
I think it was after my second fire, when we were gone for 14 days, and it was just back-breaking work. A lot of cutting line, a lot of burning, and just a lot of doing what hotshots do, just living up to that title. And once I believe they saw, hey, he's not going to quit, he's not going to give in, he's tough, he wants to work, he wants to be a part of this, he wants to be dedicated. And I feel like that's when I really gained their trust and understood, what the brotherhood was.
All right, what happened on June 30th, 2013?
For me, June 30th is a pretty difficult day to remember, and a lot of trauma there. And so getting to Yarnell, we were just assigned to a division, and to get there and try and get an anchor in, and that's what we tried to accomplish. And it was just a very difficult day with the amount of resources we had, and with the amount of fire that was there. And it was a pretty small fire in sense of things such as Fort McMurray, that's almost 1 million acres. And so just as the day went on, we just trying to delegate jobs, and I got chose to be the lookout. And with different weather events and different communications and things like that, we've had, we have the incident, we have the tragedy, we have 19 men dying. And so,
and back to the day, as far as being the lookout, what could you see? Could you see the others from where you were? What your vantage point? You're the lookout. What were you looking out at?
So what I'm trying to look out for is I'm trying to see what's going on with the fire. I'm trying to have good eyes on it. I'm taking weather for them to see if there's any changes in the relative humidity, the wind, things like that. And I could see them. I could make out figures. I couldn't see faces, but I knew that was my crew. I knew that someone was running a chainsaw, and I could hear the chainsaws running and things like that.
Could you communicate with them?
Yes, of course. I had a radio, so I could communicate with them. Clear line of sight for them to me, and clear line of sight from me to them.
And they could communicate with you?
Correct.
And you could hear other communications that they were receiving and sending as well?
Some of them.
But not all of them?
Correct. You can't expect someone to be able to pick up every single communication on 10 different channels. And
right.
Your main priority is to your crew, and to really go above and beyond that is your superintendent and your captain and your squad bosses at that point. One of the channels that I was listening to was the weather channel. That was something I was trying to scan.
So, when did you know that things had gone horribly wrong?
When I knew, and so that's a tricky question, because I knew things were going horribly wrong when I started seeing homes get burnt.
Yeah.
That's horribly wrong. That's not something you like to see. When did I know my brothers were in horrible danger? When I heard it over the radio. That's when I truly understood how close they were, the position they were in, asking for water drops, things of that sort, trying to get those communications with the proper people. And that's when I started to feel the anxiety about, this could end well. This could end bad.
Yeah, yeah. I asked this question so many different ways to so many different people. Why did they leave a relatively safe, burned area, black area, and go back into that canyon?
Based on decisions and based on communications and based on information they had and were given. And so, as hotshots, superintendents, they make, decisions based on information they're given, information they're seeing, what they're hearing, and what they're getting. And so that's, that was the decision why they left the black. What those communications were, I wish I could answer them. I really can't as of this moment,
Yeah, and I ask you that because there have been critics who say that that maybe you know a little bit more, but your loyalty, especially to Eric Marsh, keeps you from maybe saying everything you know.
No.
How do you agree with that?
No, I do not agree with that. I've been completely upfront and honest, and I think, what we're coming to find is there's a few people that are investigating Yarnell Hill fire tragedy, and they are finding a lot of new findings on what happened that day, and it's not because it was a lack of discipline from the investigation, it wasn't a lack of training, it was just a lack of time.
Right.
A lack of time and resources for them to be able to truly get into this investigation. So I think there's a lot of things that we're going to come to learn, and we're going to continue to grow as a community in the wildfire community. We're going to continue to grow whole and to learn from the decisions made that day, not only from Eric Marsh, but a lot of other people, including myself.
And one last thing about this, there are some are suggesting maybe you did hear that order. You know who ordered them, or you had a better idea of why they left the black. Again, these are people trying to find out what happened.
Yeah.
Is that again a valid observation?
No, I do not know who ordered them to leave the black, and I do not know who asked them that, but I know that there are people looking into that.
Yeah.
And they found, radio transmissions that they're trying to match voices to and trying to figure out, what's being said and who's it being said to. And so it's a long process. You look at a lot of wildfire tragedies, and it takes us years to grow from. And it's not that we're stubborn, it's not that we're ignorant, it's just that there's a lot of information there, and there's a lot of possibilities. When you're fighting a natural disaster, you look at tornadoes, you look at tsunamis, do you send in crews there when in the heat of the moment? Do you send in people in there to go fight these natural disasters? So we're fighting a very diverse problem, and so when something like this happens, it's very easy for people to point the finger. And I'm just glad that we have such great men and women in this community that are willing to take the time to dedicate to truly finding out what happened so we can prevent this.
I was going to say, you understand though why people ask the questions
Of
and
course.
why they want to know,
Oh,
because
yes.
it still seems vague. And when something as tragic as this happens, people want answers. They want to know, and they want to know what to fix. Have we learned lessons from this?
I think we have a few lessons that we've learned, and I've seen the different tactics that people are using to fight fires. They're being a little more cautious with their decision making. Maybe they're thinking about twice about doing something, and they're looking at new shelter designs, and and by learning those lessons, that's what continuing to investigate into this fire is about, because it'll just continue to grow.
Yeah, but didn't you write that nothing has really changed?
Nothing has
wildland
changed.
firefighters?
The resources wise, they need to, as a whole, we need to stand behind these men and women because they're getting spread so thin. Mm-hmm. There's no denying that wildland firefighters are getting spread thin, and we need more resources. We need more helitankers, and they're trying to do that. They're trying to keep up with this pace of the wildfire seasons that we're seeing. They're becoming year-round now. They're becoming more often. They're becoming larger. They're becoming more destructive, and so with that, we're trying to keep up.
Your reaction, the hours, the days, the weeks afterward. I mean, it sounds like, and I think everyone can understand, rough time for you. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about it.
It was a very rough time. It's not that often that you bury 19 men in a very short amount of time. It's not often that you go to 14 funerals and you try to be strong and try and represent them in a whole. And at that age, I didn't understand what those feelings were. I didn't know about trauma. I didn't know about grief. I didn't know about PTSD. I didn't know about those things. And so it was all very new for me. And leading up to the time that I realized what I was going through, it just continued to compound and get worse. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a good year before I'd even received, counseling, before I'd started going to counseling. So during that year, it was just all trauma and anxiety and depression and not knowing how to deal with it. What's wrong with me? Those feelings of just self-doubt and guilt.
It sounded like that you came very close to committing suicide.
Mm-hmm.
What got you through? What got you through past that incident and into therapy? What was the breakthrough?
I think just knowing my purpose, and knowing my purpose here is to be a father. And that was what I needed to remind myself of, and to be a good steward of my family, and to be a good person in my community, and that there are people who look to me for answers like you're asking, and sometimes I hope I can be there to answer them, and the ones that I can't answer, I'm willing to admit, hey, I don't know. And just finding that purpose again, that's what really got me through that, and having such great support from my community and my counselor, and having my faith has been tremendous.
So what's next for you?
What's next is just continuing to be a good dad, and continuing to try and be a person of servants to my community, and trying to help, fire, police, EMS, and veterans with, one of the nonprofits I work with, Carry the Load. They've done amazing things, and it's just truly blessed to be able to be a part of that and just see what they do, and just to try and help. I mean, from a young age, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to help. So, I'd like to be able to go back to school, take the time to go back to school, and, learn, get an education so I can continue to give back in some sort of matter.
Well, congratulations on this book. It sounds like it's doing well, and it's a very interesting read. Congratulations for fighting through all that as well. You got a long life ahead of you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, and thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
The Colorado River has carved over 600 miles of canyons in southern Utah and northern Arizona. As sublime as these chasms are, to travelers, they pose a seemingly insurmountable problem. Just how do you get to the other side? A highway marker on US 89A commemorates a successful effort that for nearly 60 years did just that, Lee's Ferry. Mormon pioneer John D. Lee came here in 1871. He established a ferry service across the Colorado River at the only natural point for 600 miles. Lee, seen here seated on his coffin, was executed in 1877 for his role in the Mountain Meadows Massacre, when 120 immigrants heading to California were murdered in Utah. The ferry operated for 52 more years, transporting thousands of hikers, horses, wagons, and even small automobiles across the river. Only the railroad, and finally in 1929, the Navajo Bridge made Lee's Ferry obsolete. Today, the original Navajo Bridge is reserved for pedestrians, while the new Navajo Bridge, built beside it in 1995, caters to cars and trucks. While the ferry itself is long gone, the name remains. Lee's Ferry is now the terminus for thousands of awestruck sightseers rafting on the mighty Colorado River.
From the internationally famous Riverside Park Ballroom here in Phoenix, Arizona, we present one of the nation's great Western swing dance bands, Bob Fyatt and all the Western Playboys.
Well, I ain't got nobody, and nobody, baby, cares for me. Shark has such pretty teeth, dear, and it shows them pearly white.
Tonight's edition of Arizona Artbeat focuses on the Stradivarius violin, a name synonymous with excellence for 300 years. Music experts say the sound created by a Strad is unlike any other and is as close to perfection as possible. Producer Shauna Fisher and photographer Langston Fields take us to the Musical Instrument Museum for a one-of-a-kind exhibit devoted to this singular violin.
The sound is literally music to your ears. And in the hands of the celebrated virtuoso Yitzhak Perlman, it is a musical revelation. The Stradivarius violin has been called the finest instrument ever made. Antonio Stradivari lived in Cremona, Italy in the 1600s. During his lifetime, which lasted an astonishing 93 years, he created 1,100 instruments. A little more than half were violins.
Antonio Stradivari is really recognized for a whole variety of skills that he brought to the violin. He didn't invent the violin, but he did create them at a very, very high level, and so that ranges from the application of a varnish to the surface, to the proportions and design of the violin that we really recognize as the quintessential modern violin now, the details of carving. He was excellent with a hand tool, and really was always exploring different ways to make the violin sound better.
And experts say, in addition to Stradivari's incomparable skill, the exquisite sound of his violins comes from simple beginnings.
One of the things that we really celebrate in this gallery is the fact that Cremona, Italy was close to the Fiemme Valley forest. It's a location of wood that grew with very particular climate and conditions and altitudes and all these things that made it perfect for making acoustic musical instruments.
The Stradivarius exhibit at MIM showcases work from other great violin makers, including Giuseppe Guarneri, known as Del Gesù. Del Gesù was a contemporary of Stradivari, and the most expensive violin ever auctioned off was one that he created. It went for $18 million. And that's part of what makes this exhibition so extraordinary, according to curator Richard Walter. You have the chance to view instruments carved hundreds of years ago by the masters and connect with that history.
The Target Gallery here at MIM, like all of our galleries, is filled with audiovisual monitors. People can come in with their headsets and actually not only see the instruments in beautiful 360-degree view, so you get this great intimate look at the instruments themselves, but we also have portrayals of luthiers, instrument makers. We've got fine professional performers. We have all of their narratives so they can help people understand from so many perspectives what makes a great violin so great. Is it the way it's built? Is it the way it sounds? Is it the way it looks?
Walter says to fully enjoy the exhibition, pay attention to the details. He says every luthier, that's someone who makes a stringed instrument, has a unique signature, almost like a fingerprint.
And you look at the scroll, which is one of those signature areas where people say Stradivari crafted a scroll in this fashion, and others had sharper edges, softer edges, all these things. So in those regards, you can really see those identifying features.
You can also witness the physical changes in violins throughout the years. When you look at this Amati from the side, you can see the middle curves out, almost swollen. This produced a very intimate sound, one that didn't carry very far, and it didn't need to. It was only being played for a small group. But look at the Stradivarius, crafted about 100 years later. You can see how the middle has just a slight swell to it. Just that small change in the curve allowed the violin to project a sound that could reach a large crowd.
And that's really one of the signatures of his violin legacy, is that the sound of it is preferred by fine concert violinists, knowing they can have a very expressive instrument, but one that also can project into a large audience.
One of the more interesting displays are the tools used to make the instruments. This is the first time they've been on display in the United States. There's also an opportunity to learn about violin making today, as well as hear violinist Rachel Barton Pine play her beloved Del Gesù. In all, the exhibition is an opportunity to step back in time and appreciate craftsmanship that continues today.
And it's fun. We hear people all the time comparing the different woods. This one's beautiful, this one's darker, this one looks a little bit bigger. And so we're giving people that opportunity not just to see beautiful violins, but to learn something about how to appreciate them as individual works of art, individual musical tools, and the products of a lot of people who are still aspiring to build things at the level that Stradivari did in his time.
The Stradivarius exhibition is at the museum until June 5th. That weekend, the MIM will also put on their Celebrate Italy event, where you can learn about Italian music and instruments and sample some traditional Italian food. For more information, visit mim.org. Wednesday on Arizona Horizon, Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton will join us in studio to discuss a variety of city issues, and we'll hear from a local journalist about her new book on raising a child with Down syndrome. That's on the next Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Funding for Curate, the Arizona Arts and Culture Fund, is made possible by Signal Society members Eleanor Light and Judith Hards, and by you can become a curator of the arts on Arizona PBS. For more information, call 602-496-8888.